What's up guys, Zeenigami here, and let's go through Spiral Abyss floor number 7. We're going to be using a mostly free-to-play team. The only two exceptions are the two biggest boys right there up top. We have Jean and Venti as the leaders of the first two teams. Venti is easily replaceable on this Floor 7, since Floor 7 is going to be against mostly Fatui characters, and Fatui is very much a rock, paper, scissors of elemental typing. Jean, however, is best replaced with another healer, because we do want to have a healer on each of our teams for the Spiral Abyss. We have Barbara on the second team, and Jean is going to be a healer on our first team here. Now, I mentioned that the Fatui are very much rock, paper, scissors, and a lot of Floor 7 is just making sure you have the correct typings in order to beat each one of the Fatui agents. So, on the first team here, you're going to want to make sure that you have a fire character, an electric character, an ice character, and lastly, a character that is either a Claymore user or a Geo character. And here we have a main character as our Geo character. You'll notice that we do not have ice, and I'll cover how we fix that in a moment. On Team 2, to make sure you're able to defeat all of the Fatui elements, we're going to want a fire character, a water character, an ice character, and lastly, another Geo/Claymore character. So you'll see here that we have a water, an ice, and an electric Fatui character. The enemies on the Fatuis are all defeated by one particular element, and it works in a square. The water Fatui wants to be hit by electric. The electric Fatui that is still over there with his hammer wants to be hit by ice. The ice has to be hit by fire, and the fire has to be hit by water. And if you do not break their shields, they have immense damage reduction, and it's going to take you an incredibly long time. You can see how much how little I'm doing there with Jean's attacks against him, even though we should have a fairly decent Jean. But what I'm doing there is I swirled the ice on the ice Fatui in order to break the shield on the electric Fatui skirmisher. And since I don't have ice on this team, that is always what I'm going to do in order to break the electric Fatui shields. And then we're going to be doing a lot more damage to them after that. And only after do we kill the electric Fatui are we going to be taking down the ice Fatui himself. Anytime you break any of the Fatui shields, they're going to go into a stun state like this, which is going to give you a lot of time and a lot of space in order to breathe. So if you ever find yourself in a tight spot, try to back off and hopefully break one or two of their shields, and then focus on the other ones whose shields are ideally already broken. But you very, very, very much, in order to beat stage 7 efficiently, must be using elements that are good against these guys. I didn't mention it earlier, but half of my team for these stages are actually incredibly low leveled. My Amber on that team is probably only level 30. My Kaeya on this team is only level 20. We are using a lot of units that are really low level that are just here to fulfill their elemental role. My Amber just needs to break the ice shield. My Kaeya just needs to break the electric shield, and that is the only reason they're here. Venti, starting off with his ultimate, is always going to make stages a lot faster. You're able to stun the Fatui state characters, even though most of them are pretty fat and beefy and aren't able to be stunned, but you are able to kind of disrupt them and give yourself some time to do as much damage as possible before they put up their shields and before you actually have to start breaking them down. Using fire to break the ice shields once again, and using water to break the fire shields just like that. If there's ever a water Fatui agent, you want to focus that character first, because the water Fatui is going to heal any of his allies for a ridiculous amount of health, so you want to absolutely kill the water Fatui first. After that, prioritize whichever elements that you are worst with. So if you have a hard time applying fire, then you want to take down the ice guys next. If you have a hard time applying ice, you want to take down the electric guys next. This gentleman right here with the Animo shield is the animal boxer of the Fatui, and he is basically just going to be very, very annoying, but not that dangerous as far as elements are concerned. You just don't punch him whenever he puts his shield up. You can ignore him, and then just make sure you try to avoid whenever he pulls you in like that. But he is taken down probably the easiest just because he doesn't have a shield up that is only really beaten by one particular element. So he can be taken down just with collateral damage, and don't forget that since swirling deals damage to things around them, you can swirl with an animal character in order to deal damage to him also. Now on the second floor, and in general in the Spiral Abyss, I highly recommend taking offensive stats when you're given the choice of cards, since offensive stats are going to be very, very good for your team, since Spiral Abyss is mostly about how fast you can beat things, not how safely you can beat things. So I am taking the increased attack speed on this one because it is the largest boost I can get on my team, and I'm going to be focusing the Water Fatui immediately, throwing down every single cooldown I have. If I knock it up accidentally like that with a Geo main character, then whoopsie doodles. I also call this guy Water when this guy is absolutely just the Ice Fatui. But be very careful when using the Geo main character's abilities like this, since as it is in Genshin Impact right now, anybody who gets knocked up by those Geo rocks can often just bug out and heal back up to full. One way to help remedy this is to manually aim your Geo constructs, that way they land to the side of characters but not directly on them. But Geo main character is going to be how we are breaking characters like this guy's shields. Otherwise, he is very tanky. So make sure you slam a rock down on him whenever he puts his shield up, or take him out first. And here, I'm going to just move around a little bit, try to gather up the Anemo or the electric Fatui skirmisher here. I should have just run in and DPS'd him immediately before he pulled his shield up, but now we're going to just always try to take him out first, since he's going to be the most difficult. He puts up his shield, I'm going to try to swap over to Jean and get any swirls I can. Immediately got 2 swirls off and broke his shield, and then we can break him down very, very quickly. And don't forget, once again, if you are able to break someone's shield, they're going to be sitting there in their stun state. So our ice guy is sitting there stunned while I am able to DPS the electric skirmisher. Using Geo main character's shields, rocks very effectively to give ourselves some time to spend some one-on-one fighting without having to take the damage of multiple characters. Fischl is most of my DPS on this team. Fischl and Jean are the only 2 characters that are actually highly leveled. Animal main character and Amber are pathetically leveled and not really doing any damage. They're just here to help me cause some elemental reactions and get us through some of these fights. But Fischl, Jean, they're doing all the heavy lifting on this team. Team 2, Venti always doing some heavy lifting, and so is Xiangling, and my Barber actually pretty well leveled. My Kaeya, absolutely worthless and pathetic. In fact, I am fairly certain that on these runs, my Kaeya is actually only using 4 artifacts because I totally forgot to give him a 5th artifact because of how little I actually use him. So on this secondary team, I do not have a Geo or a Claymore character, so immediately I'm going on to the Geo shielding Fatui, so that way we can kill him before he throws up his shield. Otherwise, it's going to be a big pain. I do manage to take him out before he's able to throw up a shield. And then I'm going to work on the Fire Gunner, who is very easily taken out just by Barbara's E. So that E is going to knock him into that stun state, gives us plenty of time to swap between my characters, build up ultimates again, and do as much damage as possible. Just kind of swapping around between all my characters who have cooldowns. I should have thrown out the teddy bear, but I absolutely did not. There's a teddy bear thrown in the wrong place, so it doesn't do any damage. As you can see, these are pro strats that you've come here for. Absolutely. As soon as everyone comes up, using Venti ult, gathers up the small guys, gives me time to apply some elements and do as much damage as possible before they can put up their shields. And that is how this entire floor is going to go. Venti's ultimate, very good, but not also helping us out with getting some of the elements that we need for here. The Geo shield goes up, which is going to be very annoying since I don't have a good way to break it. But we're just going to use that Barbara E, that even just touching him with a Barbara E is going to quickly break his shield. And then we'll get these last 2 guys down. That's all of floor 7, guys. Hopefully this guide / commentary of the entire floor with my low-ish level team is helpful. I'm going to be working on a guide for Spiral Abyss floor 8. If you keep an eye out for that, that'll come up on YouTube very shortly. If you like this, check me out on YouTube, as or check me out on Twitch as I do all this stuff live. And thank you so much for watching once again. I've been Zeenigami, and y'all stay beautiful.